Hey, welcome back to World Entertainment, and it's going to be the review for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I'll do a short, non-spoiler, and then I'll get into spoilers. So I'll give you a fair warning when that's going to happen. First of all, is it a great start to Phase 5, even though it was actually originally Phase 4? Does it bring back everything the MCU was? Does it pull you back in? Does it make you go, oh, thank God Phase 4 is over and Phase 5 is here? Is it the movie Marvel desperately needs? Is it an important movie, as they are saying? And the answer, after watching it, is hell no. This movie is a mess. Now, we know they went into reshoots because they said the tone was too serious and too on the dark side, and the ending was very dark, and they noted it to hell, and it's very obvious. Like, you can see scenes where there was a bit of lingering emotion there, basically, kind of the heaviness. That's the words I was looking for, the heaviness in the scene. But it would just jump immediately to something else. So the movie gets immediately into it. We start off with what you see in the first trailer when Scott Lang is walking down the street and he's saying, "How did I get here?" And I was Avenger. That entire monologue and that entire opening scene is what you get in the opening part of that original teaser trailer. Word for word, everything. Even the "thank you, Spider-Man." It's, yeah. So he's there. He's telling you where everyone is, basically. That Hope has taken over her father's company. He's retired. Hank is retired, and Michelle Pfeiffer, what was her name in it? Is it Janet or something like that? That she's basically, she's kind of struggling a bit with being home. She just wants to be home. Yeah, Janet. And he immediately gets a phone call. He's doing a book reading. He's written a book about being Ant-Man, basically. And he gets a phone call, and it's the jail. Cassie's been arrested. We see that in the trailer, so that's not a spoiler. And then they're in the car talking, and they have a meal. They get home like they have a meal. And Hank and Hope have been working on that satellite thing for the quantum realm. So they immediately turn it on, and what it's actually to do is it sends a signal down to receive a signal back to map the quantum realm. That's what it's not actually trying to communicate with down there. It's trying to map it. Which, this is the thing, the trailers are very misleading to what this film is. Mind you, they did all those reshoots, so it probably was something else. But they immediately you get sucked into the quantum realm, but they get split up. So Scott and Cassie end up in one spot together, while Hope, Janet, and Hank end up in another spot. And they're basically trying to find their ways back to each other. They're trying to find each other. Yeah, there's not really much I can say too much without going into the spoilers, but the very opening of the film is a flashback to Janet's time in the quantum realm, and she meets Kang. You just see he crash lands there. She finds him and he simply asks her, where are they? Then we're into today with Scott Lang walking out. That's the only bit of Kang you see for the first hour of this movie. So when everyone's praising Kang and Jonathan Majors is steals such a blah blah blah, you don't get him for an entire hour of the movie. Is he good? Yeah, he's good. Is he great the way they're saying? No. He's pretty standard, to be honest with you. Is it a spoiler if I say this? Kind of give you more of what the plot actually is. Yeah, better not say that. I'll save that for the spoilers. Is it a switch? The bait and switch? Is it more of a Wasp movie than Ant-Man movie? No. Surprisingly. Is Cassie the one who takes front and center stage over Ant-Man? No, not really. Does even Michelle Pfeiffer? No. He pretty much is his own thing. He seems to be competent this time around. No one else from the other two movies, in terms of his friends and stuff, are in this. So Michael Pena, is that how you pronounce his name? The guy who played Lewis. He's not in it. The rest of them guys aren't in it. The FBI agent fella, the Jimmy Woo, he's in it for like 10 seconds. Doesn't say a word. He's just literally 10 seconds. And he's gone. Bill Murray, this isn't a spoiler, but he's in one scene. So he has less screen time in this probably than he had in Ghostbusters Afterlife. So keep that in mind if you're going like, oh, I can't wait to see Bill Murray in the MCU. Yeah, no. The typical Marvel humor is plastered throughout this. It's like it hits you really over the head at times. Other times it's kind of just that Paul Rudd kind of humor, and that's fine. But but MODOK, oh my Jesus Christ, what were they thinking? What were they thinking? And yeah, like it's a mess. The scenes, you do not really until after the hour mark. Really, no scene really lasts more than 2 minutes. Like you're literally in a scene for 2 minutes. Boom, you're into the next scene. 2 minutes. Boom, then you 2 minutes past, you're in the next scene, and it just keeps going on, and you're like, wow, this feels really rushed. And the tonal shift from the very beginning to Scott walking down the street was quite jarring, because it's quite dark and a bit serious, with Michelle Pfeiffer running around because she's been attacked by these weird spider looking thingies when she finds Kang, and it's like ominous kind of music playing, and all of a sudden it just goes into this and you're just, whoa, that was a hell of a tonal jump. But yeah, it's all over the place. It's truly all over the place. It's very like Multiverse of Madness, with just how it was just a jumbled mess where you could see the studio interference, and this very much has that. So with that, I'm just going to jump into spoilers. So you've been warned. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the plot is basically, when you saw in the trailers that it looked like Kang was offering Scott back time that he lost with Cassie, the 5 years, that's not what the movie is. The movie is Kang manipulated Janet into helping him fix his ship. Now, she knew that it could jump into different universes, but when she fixed it for him, he promised to take her home. And when she touched the particle thing in it, she could see into the past in his mind and what he's done. And she sees that he's going around destroying all the universes. So she, in turn, tried to destroy the machine. So Kang catches Scott and Cassie, and he basically tells Scott, you're going to help me retrieve my device, or I'm going to make you watch me kill your daughter. And I'm going to keep going through time to make it keep watching you happen. MODOK is there to bring him in, and everyone's fearing MODOK. And as soon as you see MODOK, oh my good Christ, does it look terrible. All the CGI in this movie looks terrible. But when he reveals the face, and he's trying to be there and give this big, I'm MODOK, and halfway into it, Scott just goes, Darren? And he's like, well, my name's not, and they keep calling him Darren throughout the movie. And when Scott shrinks and goes into the place to get the voice, I guess, for Kang, he's like, Darren, can you hear me? Darren, are you there? Darren, and he's, MODOK, are you there? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm here. And they play it up, and then when MODOK eventually he fights Cassie near the end, and Cassie beats the piss out of him, and like, she struggles to do it. It's not one of those she just bests him. She struggles to do it a bit, but then he's like, she goes like, you could be more than this. And he goes, well, I've always been like this. He goes, look at me. And she goes, well, you can be more than just a dick. And he goes, I've always been a dick. What else could I be? And then she just tells, more than a dick. And walks away. And it's like, is that meant to be trying to tell us, hey, stop being a man or something? Is that what you were implying? Cassie's arc is nothing, because there is no arcs for anyone in this movie, to be honest with you. It's funny, this, you've seen it in the trailers, all the group of aliens that come up with like the light bulb looking head and stuff, they come and capture Scott and Cassie and bring them to their encampment, basically. So when MODOK and Kang's minions, they never said what the other things were called, when they find them, the leader of that group, which yes is a woman, turns and goes, you've led them straight to us. It's like, you crazy bitch, you's brought them to here. You took them hostage and brought them to here. What are you talking about? So one of the jokes then as well is they can't understand what any of the creatures and stuff are saying, so they have to drink this weird kind of goo stuff, and all of a sudden they can all understand each other. And turns out the goo is this weird blob thing that is just like played for jokes. And they do a weird joke about holes. They're like, you've so many holes. Why? How many holes have you got? And then that thing gets shot, and it's filled with holes, and it's like, I've got holes, and it's just weird. So Kang's motives are he wants to go into each timeline and destroy it because he wants to conquer it. He wants to live up to the name of being Kang the Conqueror. Yes, he gets defeated in this movie. Scott basically kills him. Ironically, this is the one moment where you're like, oh, here comes. Kang's pretty much got Scott beaten, and Wasp comes out of nowhere and saves Scott. And the two of them kind of take Kang down. So it's not even about time for Scott to make a deal with Kang. It's about Kang wanting to destroy all these rounds. And Scott's just obsessed with making sure Cassie's okay. That's it, really. There's some horrible dialogue in it. They talk about socialism and peaceful protesting and stupid shit like that. As I said in the non-spoiler part, Bill Murray's in one scene. It looks like he gets killed. You don't really see, you just see this alien thing pick him up and like smash him into the ground or throw him or something. And that's pretty much the movie, except it ends with Scott back doing the exact same part he was doing at the start, just that now he's like, oh, wait, I did defeat Kang, didn't we? Did we? Well, he did say there was something bigger and worse coming. Oh no, what have we done? And then he's just like, never mind. And the movie basically ends when they're doing a fake birthday party for Cassie, because he wants to do a fake birthday because he's missed so many birthdays. Post-credit scenes. So the first post-credit scene is a stadium type thing filled with nothing but Kangs. Yeah. So it's filled with nothing but Kangs, and so it's basically you take one out, another one just comes along, basically. And the last one is Loki and Owen Wilson's character showing up. So the two post-credit scenes are in fact setting up Loki. They're not setting up the next movie. They are setting up season 2 of Loki. Oh, a MODOK dies, by the way. He dies trying to save Scott and Cassie and all the rest of them. And he wants to die knowing that he was an Avenger. Yeah. So the movie is a disaster. It's a mess. It's all over the place. Like the editing, everything. As I said, the scenes don't last more than 2 minutes long. Up until about the 50, 55, maybe even the hour mark. Then they extend to like 6 minutes long. But I swear to God, it's literally 2 minutes, one, boom, you're into the next scene. 2 minutes, boom, you're into the next scene. 2 minutes, boom, next scene. And you're just jumping back and forth from Scott and Cassie to Janet, Hope, and Hank. So what would I give this movie? Oh, by the way, can't forget this. The first time we see Cassie shrink. Oh, it's probably the worst CG in the, even over the MODOK face, which is god awful as it is. But she shrinks and does this run, and as soon as you see it, you just go, ooh, that's bad. Yeah. So keep an eye out for that one. So what would I give this? I'd have to give it a 3 out of 10. It's horrible. And why would I even give it a 3? Because Paul Rudd is likeable in it. he still has that kind of Ant-Man charm from the first two films. So he worked. Michelle Pfeiffer was pretty cool in the movie as well. Like, you see her in this and you just end up going, I want to see her back as Catwoman. Put another Batman movie out there with Michael Keaton and her, boom. But other than that, like, I wouldn't recommend it. You know, I'm not going to tell you not to see it if you want to see it. But yeah, it's not good. So Phase 5 is not off to a good start. It's going to be another disaster. Oh. Anyway, that's the review for Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. So, see it at your own peril, I guess. Anyway, I'll leave it there for this one. Cheers. Catch you in the next one.